Alright, would you like to introduce yourself?
Hi, I'm Joe Bracey. I collect
And
many thing, to be exact.
and what types of things do you collect?
Little robot men and women, and I mean like just robots in general. If it's a robot adjacent, I like it. That's basically, yeah.
How long have you been collecting these little robot men and women?
We'll say anywhere from 3 to 5 years. It's kind of hard to put an actual date on it, but I'll say I started considering myself a collector about 3 to 5 years ago.
And how much money have you perceivably spent on this hobby or collection of yours?
I don't feel like saying the number because there are some purchases I'm really not proud of that I've made.
That's okay. We'll move on to the next question.
I will give you approximately the price of every one, like approximately like one figure costs anywhere between $15 to $50 normally. So it really depends on like what figure it is though, but normally they'll be like anywhere from $15 to $50.
Would you be willing to tell us what the most expensive figure you have in your collection is?
Yeah, his name is Star Saber, and he was 300 big ones. He was expensive. To justify myself, he was an exclusive figure that was only released for a limited time, and I couldn't get him without being scalped because at the time I didn't have the money for him. So anyone would have been like, oh, you just don't get him. But no, I have a problem. Technically, I did get him for $260, but shipping sent me back at $40 because it was a big box.
How many of these have you collected over the years?
It's a big number. I don't know if the audience at home is ready for this.
Well, we'll put a content warning.
Content warning. A huge nerd is about to reveal how big of a nerd he actually is. So currently, counting Transformers and Gundams together, all of them together, we're looking at about 180 something. If we're not including the mini cons, which are the little tiny like penny racer, like $2 to $3 ones that I have. If we're not counting those, because I don't know how many of those I have, they're in a bin right now because I can't display them. But somewhere between 180 and 185 is where I'd go. It's a lot.
Well, that is quite a large number. So how did you start getting into this lifestyle?
So we'll say around. We'll just go back to the very beginning. I've always had an affinity for tangible items, especially ones that are able to move in ways like humans. I guess. I like figures. I like moving figures, like putting figures in poses. I like making them look cool. And I like having tangible items from shows and media I watch and things I like. And I get really mad when there's no tangible media of anything because I'm like, I really want something to hold that's like that. And I really enjoy Transformers not only for its spectacle, but for its storytelling, because there's a lot of stories you can tell with Transformers that are human stories, but with things that are obviously not human. And it's, and I want representations of these characters. I want to be able to like hold and mess around and look at these characters and like just kind of have something to say, like, I like this thing and here's what I have to show for it. And so it's kind of always been there, but I didn't get serious until, we'll say, around COVID times. I got really bored, really lonely, and I was working. I was an essential worker at the time, so I needed some sort of joy and happiness in my life. I'd already been like building Gundam for like a couple of years up until that point, so I just started getting back into Transformers then, and just kind of, it snowballed. It snowballed. All right.
So for anybody that would possibly want to join into collecting these things, buying these Gundams, robot adjacent things, or what would you advise for them?
Don't.
Oh.
No. In all seriousness, though, if you're gonna get started, just keep in mind that you're never going to. You may never get to a point where you can say you have 170 and 180 or whatever, or you may like figures that people don't necessarily like that the entire internet is shouting at you that you have to hate. But my genuine reaction is just get what you like. Don't fall into a trap where you start criticizing figures because they technically suck. If you like a thing, don't be afraid to like a thing. You don't have to justify what you like. You just do it. And if people make fun of you for it, just find out what video games they're into or what sports they're into and make fun of them for that, because it's basically the same thing. Collecting sports cards, collecting Pokemon cards, collecting Magic the Gathering cards, collecting video games, playing video games, spending hundreds of dollars in microtransactions for video games. It's all the same thing. So, in a way, we're kind of, if you do that kind of stuff, we're all collectors, if you think about it.
Thank you so much.
You're not welcome.
My apologies.